Bon dia.
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome into the PTA pregame show. Packers Eagles Week 1 Friday Night Lights. Excited for the game tonight. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Jacob in Wisconsin. Jacob, you're not nervous, are you, sir?
Oh, I am pacing around, and I'm getting a little nervous, man. I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting antsy.
I love it, dude. I tell you, guys, when we logged on, the first thing I heard when Jacob got on the screen was, So let's do this. Let's give a shout out to the good friends over at Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live, Wisconsin-based since '92, specializing in Packers tickets. They are Wisconsin's largest ticket source, with offices next to Lambeau and in Milwaukee. Just click on the link in the video description. That'll send you over to their website, theticketking.com, where you can register for free as a customer. Go ahead and start shopping for your Packers tickets. Again, that's Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. So, Jacob, we already got some information rolling in. I need you to do me a favor. When we get super chats, if we get any super chats, I had somebody message me and said that we missed his super chat the other night. So I apologize. It was all good, but let's make sure they stay marked if you can. I know I've unmarked them by accident too. So just keep those marked. That way we definitely don't miss any. I'm sure we'll get some before the night's over. But let me just ask you this right off the top, Jacob. How we feeling? I know all week it seemed like most Packer fans were pretty comfortable, right? And felt like, hey, you know what? This game's more than winnable. How do you feeling now right before kickoff? You still feel pretty confident? What's worrying you? What are you excited about? Talk to me here, man.
Yeah, I'm not as confident as I was. I'm a little nervous about how our offensive line is going to hold up against their defensive line, specifically Jalen Carter against Josh Myers. There's just a lot of room for error there, and if he is able to disrupt, up the middle from the start, I just worry that that'll put a real big pause to our offense. And if we can't get our running game going, I'm worried that the whole game plan will maybe fall apart. But if we can start a little fast and start strong, I do have confidence that I think our offenses might be a little bit too much for them. As long as our wide receivers are clicking and we're in sync with our routes with Jordan, I think that the fact that they're going to have a very young secondary and a banged up linebacker crew, I think that there's a possibility here that we could get the upset.
Got it. All right, there you go. We got some information that already dropped a few minutes ago. Packers inactives are defensive end Brenton Cox, tackle Travis Glover, so both you and Emilio depressed tonight. Wide receiver Malik Heath, running back Marshawn Lloyd. No real surprise there. I kind of feel like it's, they think he's going to be ready well before week 4, so there's no reason to put him on the IR. He's just still a little too early there. Defensive end Aaron Mosby. So essentially we're going in with 4 edge defenders as opposed to 6. Nothing wrong with that. And then, of course, tackle Kadeem Telfort as well. Jacob, I know you already put a couple plays in on some bets before this stuff dropped, but it sounds like Emmanuel Wilson is good to go, obviously, but Marshawn Lloyd is going to be out. Didn't they elevate who was it they elevated? Was it McCreary or Merriweather, right? Merriweather,
yeah.
Got it.
Yep. So I'm a little bit bummed that Brenton Cox isn't going to play, that's for sure. I'm a little surprised that Malik Heath isn't going to play, just on the fact that he seems to be our best blocking wide receiver, and if we really were trying to get that run game established, who knows? But they must have a different game plan going on there. And then, it sounds like that they're kind of just do that maybe a week-to-week red shirt thing with Glover. Does that kind of look like the plan to you? Unless we absolutely really need him, he's just going to be kind of –
Yeah, I think he's going to be on that Rasheed Walker plan. Remember year 1, Rasheed Walker, I don't think he got a single snap, right? But they obviously kept him on the roster and all that good stuff. So I could see it being something along those lines. CJM with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. He said this will come down to the trenches. Our O-line and D-line better be ready for a fight. I could not agree more, CJN. I think that when you get into an early season matchup where we know the offenses aren't typically clicking on all cylinders, although if you watched the game last night between Baltimore and Kansas City, man, that was a fun one to watch. Came right down to the wire, obviously. But, yeah, when you got stuff kind of sputtering like that, to me, the game can be won in the trenches, right? Maybe Josh Jacobs has a big day. Maybe Saquon Barkley has a big day. I think you're spot on with that, CJ. And I got to be completely honest. I feel like they have the better defensive line, and I feel like they might have the better offensive line too. That's a little tough. Now, turnover differential is going to be huge. I think that's the big thing for me is going to be turnover differential, middle eight, controlling the explosives, right? Those are the three things that you can keep those in check. Don't matter how good their defense or offensive line is on the other side. You can just control those three aspects of the game, put some points on the board. I think you got a really good shot of winning this ball game. Jacob, did you know that the line had moved pretty significantly? Actually, I went to BetUS earlier. BetUS now has Packers +1, so they're just 1 point underdogs now. So it went from 2 to 2.5 to 3, back to 2.5, back to 3, back to 2.5, down all the way to 1. And I believe everywhere else, like DraftKings, a couple other sports books, they've got it still sitting at 2. So it seems like some of the money come in and shifted it a little bit. And obviously the Eagles still just slight underdogs. What that says to me is it buckle your chin strap. It's going to be one of those games that just comes down to the wire, I believe, man. At least it seems like it on the surface. CJ, thank you. CJ, thank you for the super chat, but we appreciate you.
Yeah, I also noticed it looked like the over-under went from like 46 up to 49.5 there. So
there you go. There you go. And I actually got a message earlier from our good friend, I think it was Trucker John, said if you're betting the game tonight, take the under. Offense starts slowly in an international game. They were 6-0 to the under. Look at Trucker John dropping the knowledge for us, Jacob. That's what I'm talking about, man. So appreciate you, Trucker John. Enjoy the game, buddy. Donnie also reached out to me, and this is what he asked, Jacob. He said, what are two things you're looking for tonight? For me, one is how many reps Christian Watson takes and how many deep balls he gets. And two is how the balance between Jacobs and Wilson will be. Wondering if Jacobs gets passing downs or not. I think Jacobs is going to get damn near all the passing downs. That's just me. But Manuel Wilson, that's not his strength in his game. But how do you feel about, man, what are maybe two things you're looking for tonight, Jacob?
I think it is going to be how they use that running back room, because I was just really surprised. Emmanuel Wilson has not had a lot of practice time, hasn't been available for much in the games. I mean, he's had a little bit of work here and there, but with how big of a game this is, I wonder, like you just said, how much they're going to trust him as far as pass protection on third downs, whether or not they're going to trust him to catch the ball or run routes out of the backfield. I don't know, man. I think that it could be in store for a big Josh Jacobs game. I mean, I'm talking one that they typically would not want to do, where they kind of use him as the old style working horse work back, where he's in there for, I don't even know how many attempts, 25 attempts or something like that. I could realistically see it happening, and I could see him catching a ball for a touchdown and just coming short of breaking the record, apparently, of the longest streak there without having an actual touchdown with catches. I don't know, man. I hope to see that our offensive line is actually moving the defensive line, like you just maybe touched on briefly there. And I want a fast start. I think that it's important that we get out to at least looking competent, and I want our defense to maybe set the tone, get a stop right away. That would be massive, in a crazy environment, which I'm sure is going to be almost. I'm interested to see how loud the stadium is. That's another big one too, because it could be crazy loud.
Yeah, you can see the stadium right here. It is open-ended, which typically will let the sound out a little easier than like a bowl or a dome, obviously, but those fans are going to be rowdy down there in Brazil. M. Smitty says Jacob's bummed at not getting Cox tonight.
Heard it from a fan right here.
Yeah, it's true.
We knew he would be bummed. We knew it. So Greg Rice says, I want to see X and the other safeties flying around. Javon Bullard going to be a fun one to watch, man. I'm really excited to see what Bull does. We got Tim in the house. Tim, how you doing, sir?
What's up, fellas? Game day. Let's go.
It's time to get it on. Tim, you just heard Jacob. How are you feeling, sir? How you feeling about this?
I feel great. We're going to beat the living crap out of this team tonight. I feel great.
Man.
There's, like in the words of our new kicker, I mean, if you say you don't have nerves, you're lying, right? So we're all a little nervous. We're all a little amped up right now, but I am confident. I'm confident in this team. There is nothing to worry about. Whether it's a nail biter or a boat race, I think we're coming out on top. And I'm just excited for Packers football. It's here. The season begins in about an hour.
Completely agree. You see Christian Watson warming up a few minutes ago. I don't know, man. I'm really excited. This is going to be a great test. Again, what I want to see the Packers do is come out and go blow for blow with the Philadelphia Eagles and show, hey, look, they can compete with the Eagles. Eagles were a legitimate playoff team last year. I think at one point in the season they were 10-1. So this is going to be a great test for a Packers team that finished strong, but in Matt LaFleur's tenure, he's kind of started off slow each season. Let's see if we can get that corrected. Now, last year, obviously, got off to a pretty quick start, but they did play the starters during the preseason, so you got a little bit of that lingering. I'm excited to see how this all shakes out. Andy A-Pack in the house says, Wyatt gets the first sack tonight, boys. Book it. Put it on the ticker. Devontae Wyatt with the first sack. I could see that, man. I could see that. And Nova in the chat says, Clayton, their big weakness is linebackers. What play calls do you feel were strong at that deals with them in coverage? Great question. 12 personnel, wrap concept, should be a curl with a dig off the backside of it, and do it off of play action. What you want to do is use play action to get those inexperienced backers to bite on the play action and create that void. Now, you can even go with a little dagger concept as well. Like we talk about dagger all the time. What you can do with that dagger is clear it out, walk that safety out, walk that vert out, get the linebacker underneath who's in the hook zone to bite on the play fake, then hammer that dig underneath. If they go aggressive and go zero coverage, take you shot on a 9 fade out of that dagger. That would be the way I would approach it. Remember last time, though, when LaFleur played the Eagles, totally different defensive coordinator and everything, right? What you got to kind of think about is what have we done against Miami of recent? Now, I believe it was 2 years ago. I'm pretty sure Fangio was in Miami when we played them on Christmas. Felt like the offense played pretty well. That was 2022. I think that was his first year with the Dolphins. I could be wrong. That was after he left Denver. If that was the case, the big thing that stood out to me were those wheel routes. And the reason you like those wheel routes, once again, couple verts, walking that match coverage out, and then a wheel route right off underneath it. You got 2 windows to throw to. You guys remember the diving catch? I think it was by Mercedes Lewis that Rodgers just dropped a dot in there on that wheel route. So to answer your question, though, Nova, I would say play action, get those backers to snug up, walk someone out with that concept, and hammer those digs right over top of the backers. Put it right by their ear. So what about you guys? Anything stick out to you as far as linebackers? Maybe the running game. You can maybe exploit their weakness. It seems to be linebacker.
I was just thinking that let's run the ball. We don't have to run the ball down their throats all day long. I'm not saying lean on the run heavy, but make it prevalent enough to keep those linebackers honest and make them on their heels, make them second guess, make them have to think out there. If we're just dropping back and throwing all day, it's easier to kind of sit back there and kind of keyhole on an offense. So if you're mixing in the runs, I've said this in previous pods, it helps the play action game. That's no secret. You have to have an effective run game. You don't have to have, 2 100-yard plus rushers or anything, but you need to effectively run the ball, those little chunk plays or, 2 to 4 yards here and there. Keep that middle of that defense honest as they're trying to address this Packers offense. And I think that'll set up the explosives, for guys like Scoot and Jaden Reed and Wicks. So
got it. Good stuff. M. Smitty says Fangio was with the Dolphins in 2023, and then there was someone else that said the same thing here. I'm assuming that means he was not with them in 2022 is what they're saying there. He came in 2023, so maybe he
wasn't Fangio in Denver in 2022.
Could have been. It was right before he went to Miami. I thought he spent more than 1 year with Miami, but I could be completely wrong. If that's the case, man, they ran him out of there quick. And I do remember all the rumblings that he did not gel well with the players. They didn't like his old school style, which welcome to 2024. You tell somebody to take the trash out, they throw a fit. You know what I mean? But anyway, Jake, if you got anything to add to that combo there, buddy, as far as attacking their backers, maybe.
Brian Pumper, our resident Eagles fan, says Fangio was with the Eagles staff in 2022.
Oh, okay.
So, and I think it was, one and done over there in Miami. Yep.
Okay, so that's right. He was a, if I remember correctly, he was like an advisor to the Eagles. Then he was with Denver in 21. He went to the Eagles to be an advisor, then goes down and DC's in Miami in 23, and now he's back with the Eagles. So we can't really take what happened in 2022 like, hey, that was Fangio's defense. Obviously, it might have had a little stamp on it, but yeah, that makes sense. All right,
Ron, just to highlight the end of the kind of segment here, he says Fangio's defenses have been susceptible to play action everywhere he's been. I think that's a good point. Hopefully we can use that to attack him a little bit. Also, it seems like we always used to get killed over the middle with tight end play. I hope that now that we know Kraft is playing tonight and Musgrave, I hope that they're going to be all over the field and making some important plays. I hope that Tucker Kraft is coming out here and looking like Tuck Norris, the Tuck Norris that we all know he can be.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. And if you guys would take a quick second, hammer that like button. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. We'll also be going live immediately following the show for the post-game show. So feel free to sub to the channel, hit that bell icon so it notifies you as soon as we go live for the post-game show. There's something else I want to hit here on some of these actives and inactives. You kind of touched on it there, Jacob, with it sounds like pretty much our boy Tucker Kraft's good to go. Andy Herman put an awesome tweet out, said, noteworthy that Ellis Merriweather was the only practice squad player called up. That means Malik Willis is quarterback 2. That's a great sign that he caught the offense in time to be QB2. Yep. Kraft is likely good to go, or they would have probably called up back one of the practice squad tight ends. And at least one of Wilson or Lloyd should be good to go, probably Wilson. And we also seen already the activate or inactives, and it's Marshawn Lloyd that's sitting, so it is Wilson. Andy Herman just absolutely knocked it out of the park.
And the ball, as usual, Andy Herman. I love
Spot it. On, yeah. All right. So as it sits right now, ESPN Bet put this out. Bettors are leaning heavily on the Eagles money line tonight. 77% of the money line bets backing the Eagles versus the Packers.
77% of y'all going to lose your money tonight. Let's go.
So 77% are picking the Eagles to just win outright. So the 77% really caught my attention because it's like, man, everybody's staying away from that spread. It's so tight. Just go ahead and bet one team or the other, right?
It's like 12% higher than
65%. 65%. That's what we.
Jacob, since you said "oh no" to my favorite video there, sir, I got to hit you with one of these right here. Where's it at?
Yeah, there we go.
That's your second favorite, right? So
yeah, the NFC North. Wow, great.
All right, so there we go with that, and of course we got this guy dragging in here late.
Emilio!
Like he just woke up from a nappy nap. You've been napping, Emilio.
Yeah, right.
A little siesta.
No,
How many times are you going to come to my press conference late?
Like you said, almost daily it seems like. But no, I'm gonna have to peel out in a second. Gotta grab the slice. The pizza got done at about 7. Had to rip home, so
got it. Glad you made it, brother. Glad you made it. We're just in here kind of talking about some of the actives, inactives to fill you in real quick, Emilio. Don't want to bore everybody with the information too much here, but Packers inactives: Brenton Cox, Travis Glover, Malik Heath, Marshawn Lloyd, Aaron Mosby, Kadeem Telford. What's your thoughts on that real quick? We'll move on.
2 of my boys right there, Malik Heath and Glover, but that's fine with me. I know Jacob's disappointed. I heard you guys talking about it, and we all know that's the truth. But if Kadeem Telford's out too and Glover, I'm happy that Morgan's going to be getting some burn. I feel like he's going to get a good chunk of playing time tonight. And then going back to that, you had that money line picture up earlier or something. Lombardi had this quick stat for Jalen Hurts, said he's 6-14-1 against the spread when he is the favorite away from home.
Ooh, nice.
Everybody said we ain't touching the spread, right? That makes sense, man. For sure. And again, I pointed out that BetUS, man, the line had moved. When I took this screen grab probably about 2 hours before we went live, the line at BetUS had moved all the way to just +1 for Green Bay. So it's damn near even in their eyes. Now, obviously with PFF and other sources like DraftKings, they've got it set at still at 2, I believe is where it's at. So some of that money came in late, it sounds like, on the Packers, which kind of evened that up just a touch, would be my guess. You see Jordan Love here earlier tonight getting off the bus, ready to ball out. My man dressed all black like he's going to a funeral. I'm digging it. You know
J Money, the assassin. I love it.
The nice 15-minute bus ride because they stayed close to the stadium. Smart people.
Yes.
Eagles have a 2-hour ride in.
Yeah, from the airport, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Eagles stayed at the airport. The Packers stayed 15 minutes from the stadium. That could be huge. It could be
That's
huge.
smart.
Sounds silly. Yeah,
I
sounds
hated
silly.
bus rides. I hated bus rides before a game. That was the worst.
Me
I
too.
would fully expect the early minutes of this game in the first quarter to be a little chaotic, a little bit of guys kind of maybe some false starts, maybe some, communication issues, that kind of stuff, a little bit of nerves. And then I would think as we round out that first quarter, these guys are probably settled into the game, and we'll have ourselves a great.
Do you think
ball
you'll see a bunch of like illegal formations like we saw last night?
I think there's a good chance, and if you guys aren't following along there, what you got is these tackles. They keep stretching the rules. They're lining up with their outside their kick step already way too far back. They're not even with the belt line of the center, so that's what's
Almost got
causing
to
it.
break the belt line,
They
right?
probably learned from one of the best, David Bakhtiari. Big Dave was notorious for just being so quick off the snap that it looked like a false start, but it wasn't.
They'd be playing at Lambeau, and Bach would have his left foot in Door County, dude. It was hilarious. That
Right.
dude, I'm going to say it 1,000 times. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
That's
we
right.
see Saquon Barkley leaving for the stadium here. My man looking shredded. Caleb Hurts looking too cool for school, too. That is one of the coolest looking cats you ever
Well, I
seen.
see both QB1s here wearing all black.
Yeah.
Must be a running theme. I like it.
I like it, too, man. I'm digging it. Look at the crowd out here earlier today, man. The Brazilian fans are just absolutely fired up, dude. I don't know, man. I'm just weird. It excites me to see fans get so excited in other countries about American football.
Wasn't that great when they were walking through the airport, getting off
Oh,
the plane? You could hear the excitement in the locals' voices when they were just greeting the team. And it's we've always said this, like the Packers have a global following, but especially there in Brazil, there is a local contingent of Packer backers out there in Sao Paulo, and it's awesome to just see that firsthand. Even those little video clips that we got to see, it's exciting.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Jacob, you want to go ahead and hit the chat a little bit, man, and I'll come through Twitter, make sure we're not missing anything.
Certainly. So we'll start with Jason Yu here. He says, I really want to see sticky coverage and consistent pass breakups, and interceptions would be great too. I completely agree. We've talked about how aggressiveness is kind of the theme of this defense. Halfley talked about how they want him to play fast. And Tim, what do you think? Do you have an over-under for a realistic amount of turnovers that the Packers' new defense will have this week?
Yeah, I'm confident as hell in this defense. I'm going to say +2. I think we're going to get at least 2. Probably a pick and a strip sack for a fumble recovery, something like that. The real question is, will this offense capitalize on those turnovers? Because that's what we need to do. Step on their neck, all gas, no break, get in here, dub, and get out of town. I love the background shot here, Clayton, by the way. That's a great shot of the stadium. You talk about an intimate venue right here. So this place is built for European football, but it's we're going to have some American football there, and it's going to be loud in there. I mean, communication is going to be a huge thing today, I think. But to answer your question, Jacob, I think defensively we get after it today. These guys have been rallying to the ball all preseason, all throughout training camp. Jeff Halfley has clearly come in and put his foot down, and there is going to be a way that we're going to play defense here in Green Bay. And I think we're going to be some ball hawks today. So I would anticipate at least 1 or 2 turnovers for sure.
I got a question for Emilio here. Emilio,
Yep.
what do they call steakhouses in Brazil? You think they call them Brazilian steakhouses, or do they just call them steak?
I don't know.
So bad it's good.
I'm genuinely curious.
That's the truth. I don't know what to tell you. I don't have an answer for you. We're going to have to do some research.
All right, you heard it from a fan. Look at this, Jacob. Let's get you fired up. Look at my man.
KT.
Oladapo. Look at it.
That yellow, dude.
Oh, wow.
I love how he has it exactly color matched to the
that's-
Packers gold, like perfect.
Emilio.
He went to Home Depot and
Yeah,
got
Emilio,
Oh.
you took that paint sample in there, didn't
You
you?
know it.
Yeah, the
problem was-
RGBY codes all
It wasn't. Tim, it wasn't on the wall. You know what I'm saying? He had to get the guy to get the book out, set it on the counter, and we were flipping through. That's a Bear Premium Plus.
He came in. He had his skivvies on from training camp. He said, "Hey, I need you to match these for me real quick."
I love it. Absolutely love it. All right, Jay, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, bub. I figured you get fired up over this Oladipo hair color here, man. That's absolutely awesome.
No,
Go ahead,
that's perfect.
continue on with the chats.
Yeah, Coach Lynn just says overall he wants to see how improved the team is altogether. I agree with that completely. And Shavank says that just heard the news. Sorry about Cox, Jacob. You know, it's going to hurt for a while, but it's a wound that will heal, as all wounds do.
You heard it from a fan right here.
Chewy says, man, I was happier than a pig in a sugar honey iced tea when Peacock gave me a veteran discount.
Happier than a Jacob at Brookview Meadows.
Jeez. I don't know what that's even about. $2.50 a month, $2.50 American cents. Thank you for your service. I think I can give one person my info and let them sign in. I didn't read that part. Thank you again, Chewy, and thank you for Peacock for making it kind of at least
that's
somewhat
awesome. Discount
affordable.
for the veterans. Gotta love it.
You know, for the tooth. And Blake B says Narvison good from 62 in warmups per Dara, I believe.
Whoa.
Which Dara's out there doing some work.
Emilio, he clicked the bloody piss out of it, bro. That's what I'm talking.
That's
I
good.
love it.
That's good to hear because that was the whole reason that apparently Anders was great because he could boot it well. This dude can toot it and boot it as well, it sounds like. And then Coach Lynn is back again. He says X had 2 picks this week. We were asked how Xavier McKinney did against the Eagles last year and just overall in general. So Coach Lynn said X had 2 picks versus the Eagles last year. And then just to round it out, because Ron is the man, comes in with the plan. He says Xavier McKinney had 17 solo tackles, 13 assists, half a sack, 3 interceptions in 4 games versus the Eagles in his career. Nice.
Good numbers there. Great information, man. Let's do this, man. Let's change things up a touch and let's go over to NFLpro.com here. All right. This
How
is
excited do you think X is to hit Saquon?
Huh?
What's that?
Do you think X is excited to hit Saquon?
Oh, that's a good point, man. I don't know, man. It sounded like they were pretty close from what I heard.
That's what I was wondering. That's what I mean, you always got a buddy, but one time, you know, you might, if you get him lined up, I don't think he's going to take it easy on him by any means. But
No, absolutely not. Yeah. So just at a glance here, wanted to take a quick peek. Like I said, this is over on NFLpro.com, some of the advanced metrics, things like that. Let me go full screen so y'all can see it all right.
Nice. Perfect.
Yeah, Green Bay, you see, they're still +2 on this site here. I think that was according to DraftKings. Obviously, points per game last year, Green Bay was 11th with 22.5. The Eagles were 7th best in the league at 25.5. Point differential, though, the Packers were 10th in the league at +33. The Eagles were 15th at +5. So it just kind of shows you the Eagles were able to win a lot of those close games. Records in close games, Packers were 6-5. The Eagles were 8-3. So the fact that this is, you know, less than a 3-point spread, depending on what site you're using, that would seem to lean towards the favorite being the Eagles. You're seeing the money line, all that coming in. That they last year, again, might as well have been 1942. A new year's a new year, but they did. They were very capable of winning these close games last year. They being the Eagles. Average margin of victory last year, the Packers were 15th in the league at 9.8 points. The Eagles were 23rd at only 7.1 points. Turnover differential was the big thing here, guys. If this carries over, this could be huge. Turnover differential for the Packers, they finished the year at 0, which was 8th best in the league. And the Eagles finished 14th at a -11. We can get us, like I said, if we win that turnover differential tonight, man, we're off to the races. Total penalties last year, the Packers had 17th most at 105. The Eagles were 9th most at 95. So just on the surface there, anything you guys want to comment there before we get to some of the matchup comparisons?
How many penalties do you think we're going to have tonight? I was guessing around 7. If Matt has over 10, I think he's going to freak out in practice Monday.
Let's see here. We had 105 last year. And how many games did we play?
20?
7. Did we? Let's see. We played
17 normal, right?
18 games, right? Including the playoff game?
19, because we had 2 playoff games.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So 19. So we go 105 divided by 19. That puts us at a 5.52 average. Did you say 7, Emilio?
I said 7.
Yeah, I could see that. I think it'd be probably a little higher tonight, You know how it is early in the season. Even the refs are getting their feet under them. I could see that being the case.
Right, exactly.
All right, let's scroll right along here. Packers offense. Here's the team overviews, okay, and it shows who has the advantage. Packers offense, overall passing efficiency, number 5. The Eagles passing offense efficiency, 26 last year. So the advantage goes to the Packers there in a 4-star fashion. Overall rushing efficiency, the Packers were 15th last year. The Eagles' rush defense was 26th, is what it's showing. That's a 3-star advantage there. Pressure rate, the Packers were number 3, the Eagles number 20. Packers get a 4-star. And that's the Packers offense allowing pressure rate. Let me specify there. I apologize. The Eagles were 20th in getting pressure on the quarterback, so that gives a little 4-star advantage to the Packers. Now over to the Eagles offense, you see overall passing efficiency. They were not. The Packers defense in passing efficiency was 24, so that gives the Eagles a 3-star advantage. Overall rushing efficiency last year for the Eagles was 11th. Packers rushing defense was 18th. I know people were surprised when we talked about that on the pod, but it's actually the passing defense that took a step back last year, not the rush defense. It actually got a little better, albeit 18th isn't nothing to write home about. That gives the Eagles a 2-star advantage. And in pressure rate, the Eagles offense last year were ranked 23rd in handling pressure. The Packers defense was 6th best in the league at providing pressure. That gave them a 4-star. So you're seeing out of these 6 key things, passing efficiency, rushing efficiency, and pressure rate, the Packers have 4 of the 6 in their advantage, or in their favor, I should say. So, thoughts on that? Do you guys think that that's pretty accurate, or do you think maybe that doesn't make a hill of beans here?
I think you just have to remember that they don't have Kelsey no more, which could be a massive part. We always have to just put that out there, that no matter how good or bad they've done with any metric, just add in the fact they don't have Kelsey. I think that has to drastically disrupt whatever readings you get there.
I think it's a good point.
Yeah,
Jacob?
I think you're spot on with that, Jacob. Because honestly, looking at that, it's like, oh, all right, we got him in 4 out of the 6. We're good to go. You know, we're gonna take the dub. But I think there's more to that. They got there's a lot of stuff that happened behind the scenes, new coaches and things like that, and same with us, right? So I'm just hoping that the 4-3 steps up. I want to see the D-line be explosive, but I also want to see him to be able to still contain. And I'm just hoping Hafley calls one great game.
Definitely. Tim, anything, bro?
Yeah, I'm co-signing what Emilio just said, 100%. Hafley talked about being up in the booth and wanting that bird's eye view, and this is going to be our first look at, really seeing him call a game for us, and I think the boys are going to get after it today. I really do.
Yeah. All right, there you go. Let's see if there's anything down here towards the bottom. Player projections, just a couple of key, like I said, next-gen statistics here. Jordan Love, passing yards, they've got it projected at 240.4. That number was about 19 off of the average over-unders that I've seen across all gambling sites. So might want to hammer the under on the passing yards according to the sites when it comes to Jordan Love. They're probably anticipating the Packers leaning on the run a little bit there. Passing touchdowns at 1.7, interceptions at 0.7, rushing yards for Jordan, 14. Josh Jacobs, they got the rushing yards at 72.9, rushing touchdown at 0.6 on the projection. When it comes to receiving, they've got Jaden Reed projected to have the most receiving yards at 53.2 with 4 receptions. Romeo Dobbs second with 49 receiving yards with 4 receptions, and then Luke Musgrave at 2.5 receptions for 28.5 yards. Notice Tucker Kraft isn't on there anywhere, man. I'm thinking Tucker Kraft's going to surprise some people tonight, man.
I think Musgrave might surprise some people too.
Musgrave stayed on his feet.
That poor guy.
They're sleeping on him, Tim.
Yeesh.
Yeah. Anything you guys want to, Jacob? I know you've been hammering the fantasy sites today. Not those fantasy sites, but you know what I'm talking about. What do you think of?
Maybe both.
I know you had the pinky next to your mouth just now too. What do you think?
Wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
What do you think about washing your hands, But what do you think about these projections right here?
I'm surprised that you don't see Christian Watson's name anywhere there. We saw that flash of him just a few moments ago where he was running those routes. I believe somebody in the chat said, like, hey, look at his legs. Are y'all worried? I thought his legs, not that I'm staring at the guy's legs.
Creeper.
He looked like he had bigger legs. They were more defined and that he that they were the same size, which obviously we learned was his issue. And I'm super excited that we're going to watch the start of this. I think that we might see another one of those early bombs to Watson. Like, remember the start of what could have been the best start of anybody's career in the history of mankind, where he dropped that wide open bomb from Rodgers against the Vikes.
Bomb.
Yes. So let's do it again. Let's redo it. Let's start it over in South America, baby. Have the Brazilians going crazy, and then he'll do a backflip. I'm calling it right now, dude. I just saw it with my mind's eye. Oof.
I like it.
Put it on the board.
Like this private chat y'all got going on over here. This is absolutely off the rails. I appreciate me over here trying to be somewhat professional, and you just ruining the whole damn thing.
Sit your butt outside.
You're in detention, Emilio. Philadelphia Eagles side, Jalen Hurts passing yards projection 224.9 with 1.3 passing touchdowns. Saquon Barkley 70.7 projected rushing yards, 0.5 on the rushing touchdown. A.J. Brown 5 receptions, 84.2 receiving yards as projection. Then you got Devonta Smith at 5 receptions for 63 yards. Dallas Goedert at 4 receptions at 42 yards. They're kind of thinking A.J. Brown's going to lead the way here. I got a question earlier. I think it might have been in Patreon. I know I've got that pulled up here somewhere. I'm trying to do way too many things at once. Somebody had asked about our boy Jair Alexander. Man. On it now, whoever it was, shout out to whoever it was, but they were saying, hey, do you think they'll, how are they going to play him? Do you think they'll have him follow, A.J. Brown, that type of thing? I don't think they'll have him follow. That's just me personally, but I could be wrong there because I just don't think Hafley's going to play near as much man coverage as like a Bill Belichick had in the past, right? But you will see more than we did last year. If you're able to get Ja matched up on A.J. Brown, though, man, A.J. Brown has the height advantage, but Ja playing this new fisheye technique. Let's see if he can make some turnovers happen for sure. Anything else you guys want to see on that screen there? I noticed we got the obviously the injury report down here. We already know Isaiah Rodgers, Devin White both out for the Eagles. Aaron Mosby out. It says personal matter. Tucker Kraft was questionable. Marshawn Lloyd questionable. We know he's out now. Of course, Emmanuel Wilson was questionable. He's in tonight. So Tucker Kraft and Emmanuel Wilson in.
I was wondering, you had last night Henry and Worthy score. So who are the two new people on our offense, or who's a new person on our offense and the Eagles offense? I think that we're going to have one each from the running backs, one from Josh Jacobs, one from Saquon. Just new teams, got to get them, get them some love. Everyone around them in the end zone, everyone's hype, excited, get it, ref, I'm holding on to that one, and we're going to move forward, man. Let's get this season going. So I think we'll have. I think there's going to be at least three touchdowns per team. Honestly, I think we're going to be scoring a little bit.
Got it. All right. That seems to be kind of you're one of the first people I've heard say that, Emilio. That's exciting. I hope you're right.
Can I pose a question real quick?
Yeah, man.
So last night, going off Emilio's theme right there, I think bar none, the most unknown player that people watched just explode that now when they hit the waiver wire for fantasy football's sake was a man named Isaiah Likely. He would have been the Baltimore Ravens backup tight end. Nobody really had him on the radar of going out there and catching 11 balls for like 110. Would have been like 120 yards, 2 touchdowns. Absolutely freak performance. So who is the player either on the Packers or I think more importantly on the Eagles who we're not thinking about that could absolutely make a disruption in this game? I started thinking about maybe the guy that they got lately was Jahan Dotson. We'll be so worried about shutting down Devontae Smith and shutting down AJ that all of a sudden Jahan Dotson sneaking around doing deadly things to our nickelback and third and fourth string corners there. So was there any other? And another one I thought was they got this backup Will Shipley. And then they've also had Kenneth Gainwell forever. And I can see those guys. They're very shifty, very speedy guys. We're focused on the bigger back, Saquon, where, we could let those guys kind of slip through the cracks. Anything for you, Emilio, on that?
I think you might as well add Dotson to scoring. So I'd say maybe we get a A.J. Brown or a Smith, and then Dotson and a Saquon. Just try to get these guys involved. I mean, you brought them over for a reason. I think we got to do the same thing. And, Matt doesn't care about the receiving corps rankings, and that's totally fine, man. I think we're just a team. Look at that. Hoo-wee.
God, dude. Oof.
It's not Jacob got the bubble guts again just now.
I'm getting too excited, bro. Oh.
Jacob's excited that we got them rocking green too. So Eagles, what they're running white for home?
I think so. White and black.
Yeah.
Jacob's over there nervous. Jacob's over there like
Cheese curds make my stomach hurt all the time, but I do eat them though.
Yeah, I think they get the black unis is what the Eagles are wearing, if I understand correctly.
Oh, okay.
Black on greens? What?
All blacks, I think. So they're going to go all black. The only green will be the Eagles logo type
It's
thing.
appropriate that we're wearing green because this is for all intents and purposes. This is a home game for the Packers.
Yeah,
Okay,
short field.
so that covers Elder Grimm's question here. He was just wondering what color unis are both teams wearing. Whoop, 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 whoop. I'm so jacked up, man.
Yeah, the whole ban on green thing down there was hilarious. Like it was, there were so many people that are 100% convinced it's a thing, and others 100% not convinced. And then you had some people saying it's not safe, other people saying I think it's hilarious. The people who are saying it is just extremely safe are the ones that are not there too. That cracks me up. They're sitting back in the States going, that's a bunch of my lord. Then,
as always, it's somewhere in the middle, probably.
Exactly. Of course, the NFL comes out and says, don't leave your hotel. That's the thing we need to know, right? So, anyway, Carly Ray did ask, can you have the post-game show up so we could chat during the game? And I think someone else, Greg Rice, as well, said, Clayton, open up the post-game stream early so we can chat. Please, will do. We're going to wrap this up right at 7 o'clock Central Time to give me about 10, 15 minutes to get that completely set up. Shouldn't take that long. We'll get it set up. So you guys keep an eye out for that. There will be a post-game link pop up on our YouTube channel, and everybody hop in there and chat about the game. I'll be in there as well trying to chat with y'all if I can make it work here with my pre-game festivities, which it looks like a damn chemistry lab in here right now. I've got notebooks everywhere, whiteboards. It's it's going to be interesting. I'm
just here to tell you, Pack is back.
You heard it from a fan right here.
That was so perfectly timed.
He does it perfect every time. I've never been. I don't think I've ever been as excited for a football season than I am right now.
Right.
And the Eagles. Oh, it is the white uni, so they did change it up. They went white. Okay. Yeah, I heard that they were going to wear all blacks, but here we go. So we do have the white unis. I apologize for that misinformation. Don't cancel me, all right? But Jalen Hurts out there going onto the field. I like that dude. Now, I don't know how y'all feel about Jalen Hurts. I hate him today, but any other – I mean, you hear him talk, and Nick Saban, how he talked about him at Bama, he is a class act kid. And the fact that he got benched for Tua in that national championship, came right back, battled, got drafted way lower than what his contract would suggest he should have gotten drafted. I think he's a good person, a good football player. We'll see, though, if him and Nick Sirianni can coexist this year, as last year got a little bit heated, obviously. So anything else y'all want to hit on? Any other topics before we get into some of the other stuff here that I had somewhat lined up? I'm just coming through Twitter right now trying to see if we got any updates.
Yeah,
they can knock out
56-0 over the Eagles. Let's go.
What did he say? What did Tim say? What did you say?
56-0.
56-0. All right. Yeah,
Let's get realistic. Yeah.
Jacob over there playing on JV is what it sounds like. Now, college football.
How dare you?
Jacob said, I'm the one with the trophy, though.
So that'll be. Can I knock out a couple chats quick?
Yeah, man, do it. Let's roll.
Okay, we'll just get caught up. Coach Len was saying that Clark, Wyatt, and Slayton will be absolutely keys to this game. I think Slayton right there, if he can control that interior pocket of that offensive line for however much time to kind of get our I just want our defense to get through the initial onslaught. You know, it seemed like it started so fast last night. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on today. I just want the defensive line to slow everything down. What do you guys think? Is that a possibility?
Go ahead, fellas.
I'm hoping so. Like I said, I want to see this D-line be explosive. We don't need to be 8 yards in the backfield, but we need to get pushed. We need to hold them on runs. We need to, if we can, shoot the gap. If not, clog it up, and we need to get those backers coming downhill. But I think that is going to be a key, right? We talked about the 4. If we can get pressure with 4 or in our wide sets, whatever. And I'm excited to see our first third down, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. I think the interior of that D-line is going to be crucial today. And if we can get home with 4, it's going to be a long night for the Eagles. I'd like to see us not have to go super blitz heavy. Maybe fire a Mike or a Will here and there, or maybe bring a safety down or something. Even a little dial up a nickel blitz or something here and there. But if we can get pressure from the interior and those guys on the edge, and we can get home, it's going to be a great night for the Packers for sure.
Nice. Chewy had an interesting question saying that I watched the game last night. Said, "What are your thoughts about every kickoff resulting in a touchback?" I thought that was quite odd as well. I know the NFL mentioned that they're going to watch the first few games and see if there's a reason to tweak it. So,
by getting rid of the kickoff altogether,
I think just adjusting
that's clearly where we're going.
It sounded like they're just threatening to adjust the amount of space they'll move it out. They're like,
you get through the touchback, we're going to put it at the 45. How about that?
Exactly. So I don't like, honestly, whatever. I would have rather had it just keep the old kicking rules, but thoughts, Clayton, anything or anybody that really wants to, should we just move on? Is it nothing?
I think it's going to stay put. That the deadline was that, I think it was last Tuesday. They were talking about bringing it out to the 35 now. But, yeah, that's all teams are doing up to this point. And now, again, we've only played one game, so maybe that changes as we get a little deeper into week 1. But we'll see. I mean, honestly, the way I see that, if the goal is to make kickoffs more exciting, therefore all the analytics, all the information suggests doing it this way is going to have more explosive plays on kickoff, I don't care what you think about me. I'm putting that thing in the end zone, letting them have it at the 30. I'm not going to give up the big play. I'm the most boring fan on the face of the earth. I'm like,
I just love how touchbacks went from the 20 to the 25. Now we're at the 30.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're, like Emilio said, do we just give it to him at midfield?
No, we're just going to match it. If you hit it out of bounds or through the end zone, it's going to be a 40-yard line, and we're moving forward.
I think that would be the only way to incentivize the kicking team to not boot the ball out of the end zone.
No, here's what you do, Tim. If you kick it into the touchback, we are going to kidnap your dog, and we're going to take that dog. And sorry, never mind.
I thought you were going to say daughter. I was like, we're getting canceled.
Yes, we're getting canceled. No, dude, it was just their pet. No big deal.
Yeah, no worries. PETA, sponsor the show.
Deadfish says, waiting on the game. We'll be watching with my wife of 46 years. We'll also be watching with my son, a 17-year Navy vet.
Let's go.
This happens to be visiting as he's on vacation from Norfolk. Thank you so much, Deadfish, for everything. That's awesome.
What a family. What a family.
Love it.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
And Ron comes around and says, do the linebackers have more responsibility and contain when playing the 4-3? I would argue, yeah, right, compared to the edges. Well, that's not true, probably, right? Because the edges had to worry about a lot more than I don't know. Clay, you take that one. I'm sure you have a better explanation there.
The only thing that changes from a 34 to a 4-3, those 3 down linemen are playing 2 gap. Meaning engage, you're controlling A to A or A to B or B to C, right? You're engaging, you're not penetrating upfield, you're simply engaging, moving laterally, holding the point of attack, eating double teams. That's why you got such bigger defensive linemen in a 34 jam. And then with a 4-3, it's just one gap. You're attacking that gap, try to be situationally aware enough to locate, is it a pass or a run? So you're essentially playing the run on your way to the quarterback. So when it comes to the contain aspect, the defensive ends, like for instance, if you're going to go with a 4-3 kind of a tighter look, maybe his gap is going to be the defensive end. Their gap might be the C gap, right, or the B gap even. If you're going to line up on it in that tight front, that means in that specific call, the outside linebacker would be responsible for contain, right? And that's just one tiny little example. What the answer to the question is, it depends on the defensive play call. That's what it depends on, and that's what we were trying to get. The point we were trying to get across all offseason is every defensive coordinator calls the same plays. It's who calls these plays more often than the other. That makes sense. So when it comes to contain, I think what you're going to see with Jalen Hurts. I wish I had the numbers on where he likes to scramble the most, but they do have some design runs, at least they did a couple years ago, inside quarterback run type things. And I'm not talking about the tush push. I'm just talking about snap, quarterback draw, go. If that's the case, you may see some twisting up front with the D tackles, with one of which being a touch spot. Occupy, double team, get hands on both the blockers, and fade back 2.5 yards. If he tries to scramble up the middle, you make sure you get him off his spot there. As far as this rush lane on those design runs, it's easy. It's way more difficult than I just made it sound, I promise you. But yeah, as far as contain, there's outside linebacker contain calls in a 4-3 the same as there is in a 34. It's just what's the specific call at that moment. Let me hit this real quick. I found that question I was looking for. CJN asked it in our Patreon group. Do we know if in the Halfley area if Ja, I think he's saying air is what he meant, if Ja will stick to one side of the field or float based on coverage? I recall a past show it was brought up he had better stats on one side of the field versus the other, so I'm curious. If you go back like 3 years, Ja used to line up when Kevin King was here. Kevin King lined up where Ja's lining up right now, which from the offense's perspective, left sideline. Jair had his highest PFF graded years on the right side from the offense, which would actually be left cornerback on the defensive depth chart because you're, from the defense's perspective there. So that's what you heard us mention on the pod, CJN. I have no reason to believe Ja's going to line up over there, and we're going to find out tonight. See if you see him moving around, right? If you notice one moment he's on the left sideline, the next moment he's on the right sideline. The problem is it's a problem for us. It's not a problem for the coaches. They know which eye is dominant with Eric Stokes. Seeing that, we had Coach Downard and all these other guys that have been here for a significant amount of time, and when we drafted Eric Stokes, that's what forced us or pushed the defensive coaches to putting Ja on that opposite sideline. To me, if you read between the lines, that suggests that Eric Stokes' dominant eye, he prefers to be on the left cornerback position from the offense's perspective on the right side. Okay, so that's my guess is why they did that. Now, again, it's another reason I have a problem with you take a player in the first round at cornerback and he can't play both sides. I have a little bit of an issue with that, but they love their speed, and Eric Stokes has world-class speed. I'd love to see that dude come out here and ball out tonight. Hopefully that answered the question. I don't know if that made sense or not, but that's I think that's why they moved Ja in the first place was Eric Stokes' dominant eye, meaning you're playing sideways most of the time as a corner. Wherever your dominant eye is, you want that in position to be able to make that cornerback that comfortable, that much more comfortable.
It appears that has worked out because Stokes had a great camp and a really good preseason, appears to be tracking the football better. That was one of our biggest gripes with him was tracking that football in the air. So it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Go ahead with the questions if you want to, Jake, in the chat there. I just wanted to hit that because I know he had asked that question.
Yeah, absolutely. CJN says that he watched this game on Madden 25 and Wyatt had the first sack. So
that's actually true. I played it last night, 28-14. 28-14 we won, but I had 3 picks and Wyatt did have the first sack. So
hey, check this out. I'm at halftime. The game's saved, right? I was playing it earlier today.
Oh,
I'm up 20-10 at halftime. Devontae Wyatt had 2 first-half sacks.
Come on now. It's got to be a sign.
Clearly, it's science. Andy Monday came in and says, hey, new Eagles at center and right guard. Let's dominate. So here I am worried about our interior line, and that guard is booty cheeks. Well, that sounds good. So, hopefully that means that the guys that we just talked about, the interior guys are going to absolutely eat. I hope that TJ Slayton has a come-out game where people are just like, who is TJ Slayton? He's got that big, massive Bane mask on. It's going to be amazing. Nova says they interviewed the commissioner on Peacock, and he pretty much all but said it's going to get moved to the 35 when they asked him about all 11 kicks last night. He said 35 or 40.
Yep.
All right. So just like Tim said. And then finally, last but not least, Coach Len says how much Hopper, I can never do it. How much Hopper and Cooper do we see tonight?
That's a great question.
I don't think a lot. I think
we probably see more Tyron Hopper than Edrin Cooper at this point. I mean, Hopper's at least had some reps during this preseason.
On the surface, I want to agree with you, Tim, but I I keep going back to what LaFleur said and how they tried to throw some stuff at Cooper there early on. And they were like, he was asking the offensive coaches, did y'all tell him about that? Because he was just his football IQ was like, so that kind of makes me wonder, have they been hesitant this whole time because they feel comfortable with him playing? I know we're going to know right out of the gate, man. Now, here's the thing. The Eagles, if they do what they did last year, they ran 11 personnel 70% of the time. So there's only going to be 2 backers on the field a large majority of the snaps tonight if they stick with the game plan they had last year for the most part. And Sirianni is a offensive-minded coach. I imagine he would want his final stamp of approval on everything rather than Kellen Moore or anyone else that's been added to that offensive staff. Now, if that's the case, it would take Cooper playing over Isaiah McDuffie, right? I have a hard time with that one, right? Yeah. But in a 4-3 base, I think they might play Cooper over Eric Wilson or over Hopper simply because I keep thinking about that comment in training camp. And again, that could have been Matt LaFleur sending a smoke screen too. We talk about that, right? Like he might have been trying to put that out there for people like us and just people randomly watching and going, you know what, let me throw this out here and make people think that Cooper is way ahead of the game when maybe he wasn't, So here we go. Dan in the chat, he comes in and pissed off. I love it. He said, listen to the Peacock broadcast. All they're talking about is the Eagles. That's what we want, Dan. Let them keep talking.
That's right.
Yep.
I want to pull this up real quick. This is what we were talking about, right guard. First of all, the new center is Juergens. His PFF grade, let's see, in 2022 was 72.7, and in 2023 he was 61.4, right?
Are his hands real soft?
What the hell's wrong with you, Jacob?
Oh, we're going to give him some.
So the big thing there, though, look at the pass blocking grade, man. 51.6, right?
Beauty.
Now, it looks like in 2023 he had quite a few snaps too. So I don't know where he played in 2023. It's showing center here. Emilio, what's going on? What the hell's going on out here?
I could have swore he played or that the Cornhusker played right guard next to Kelsey. And then when Kelsey retired, he took over as center, and then they brought in a new right guard.
And this is the guy that Kelsey recommended they draft in 2022, I'm pretty sure.
Right. But he was there. Like, pretty sure they just had a clip of it on Peacock there. He was the one helping Kelsey, driving that tush push. So
maybe he picked up on it. And at right guard, hey, easy, Quagmire. At right guard, Mekhi Becton.
There he is, 6'7".
That's that guy we want Kenny Clark going one-on-one with right there. That's
I can't.
6'7", 363. PFF grades from 2020, 2021, and 2023 in this order. 74.4, not bad. 67.3, 53.2. Let's hope we get that 53.2 tonight, fellas. So there is what they were talking about in the chat as far as the matchup or the advantage we may have against that interior and right side of the offensive line. Now, the tackles are solid, obviously. All right. Anything else, Jacob? Got any other comments, or are we all caught up, man?
Comments. Well, I'll summarize. Basically, people need to know that Juergens is going to be passing that ball through his legs to Hurts. Hurts is going to try to make sure that ball's coming through and try to get it to Brown, and Cox isn't going to be playing, so don't worry about Juergens trying to get that ball over to Hurts because it's not going to get to Hurts because Hurts can't get that ball without Cox getting in there with Love. And,
You're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
That's basically the chat in a nutshell right now.
Got it. Well, so the chat is very toxic tonight. That's what I'm hearing. Is that correct?
Right.
All right. Here we go. Here's a little scene just a few minutes ago. The crowd, everybody filed in. So it's going to be buzzing.
I'm excited to see the numbers of everyone that watched it, like in the country too. You know what I'm saying? After the fact, like it's. I mean, I'm sure that thing is televised all through. So, I'm excited to see everybody be able to check it out.
Definitely.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure if they don't watch it, it's like jail, immediate to jail. Remember that clip from Parks and Rec?
You guys and gals would hit that like button for us real quick. Feel free to sub to the channel. We'll be going live after the game for our post-game show. I appreciate y'all hanging out with us in here. It's going to be a lot of fun if you want to swing back through. Getting ready for kickoff. Let's go around the horn one last time here, guys. We're about 20 minutes from kickoff, I believe. Tim, parting thoughts, sir, as we get ready to kick off this 2024 NFL season.
Go Pack, go. That's it. That's all. Just like Tay said, right? I think I'm going to change my final score prediction. 156-0. Green Bay Packers victory. Behind a stellar performance from this new revamped, revitalized defense and this lights-out Tupac LaFleur-led offense with Jay Money at the helm. It's going to be a hell of a game tonight, guys. In all seriousness, though, I do think it's going to be I don't want to say a full-on nail-biter, but it's going to be a close game, much like we saw last night with KC and Baltimore. So get ready for a shootout, I think, here in Brazil, and go Pack, go. Let's come home with the dub.
Emilio, sir.
Yeah, I think Tim said it well. You worked all off season for it. It's about time. We've waited 200 days. Players been working hard. Matt's been working hard. Goody's been working hard. Everybody from top down. I think this is where they show it, right? I think we put a little respect on everyone's name. Like I said in the chat, Matt didn't get a blue chip or red chip nod as a coach. But Dan Campbell and Sean McDermott did, so I'm not sure. We'll have to discuss that at a later time, but I think we're going to show them tonight.
Jacob?
Yeah, I just want to see us go out there and start fast and be explosive and just pedal to the metal, all gas, no brake, execute, all buzzwords. I got to go take a minute and I got to do my pregame rituals. I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious.
Yeah,
so I got some stuff I got to do here, guys. Go Pack, go.
Close the door 5 times, open it, light the sage.
Gonna sacrifice a sparrow in there on the yeah, it's unbelievable.
Exactly.
You're an amazing person, as one coach once said, Jake.
Yeah. We'll see you guys after for the post-game show, so get ready for that. Let's go.
All right, see you there. All right, that's it. We're out. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us. This was a lot of fun. Special shout out to CJN. Thank you so much for the super chat, bub. We appreciate you. We'll be back immediately following the game for the post-game show. I'm going to go set up the link right now. We'll see y'all soon. Tim, Emilio, Jacob, thank y'all for your time. And, let's go get this dub. Go Pack,
go.
For those of you listening, bon dia.
Thank you for making us part of your day. Go Pack, go.